What if I just got like narcolepsy like right when we hit start on this record?
You just develop narcolepsy as the podcast begins.
Whoopsie, I fell asleep. Welcome to the movie Propcast. I didn't actually fall asleep. I'm awake now. We're here. We have just watched, I don't know when you watched it, but I gotta be honest, I finished it today. Kingsman, The Secret Service, as chosen by you, Tyler. I'm hyped. This movie's awesome.
Why do you procrastinate my movies?
It really is. It really is only you. I'm like, now it's my movie. I'm like, I'm eager. I'm ready to go. But I do love this movie. So it was kind of like, I'm not going to say it was on both of our lists, but once you did it, I was like, damn, that's a movie that I would have liked to do. It was one of those, but.
It's such a good movie. Like as I was sitting through this movie and watching it, I was like, wait, this might be like in my top 10. Like I genuinely sit and enjoy every second of this movie, and I don't find a point where I want to skip past it. I'm like never bored at all during this movie.
They absolutely crushed this movie. It could have been boring. I'll be honest, a lot of spy movies that I see, I mean, there's a lull or two, you know what I mean? It can get a lot of little dialogue-y, but I think I know for a fact is a word, dialogue-y.
Yeah, sure.
But this did an amazing job at just keeping you engaged, even when, like, the opening credits, like, you know what I mean? Like, they're just like, there's explosions happening, the rubble's falling, and like, it's becoming words, and you're like, I want to read these opening credits. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's so good. I remember when the movie came out, I thought it was going to be in the vein of like Spy Kids. Like I thought it was a kids movie.
Oh, boy.
Like even through the trailers, I thought this was. I watch anything, so there was some action. I was like, all right, it's a spy movie. There's action, and within the first 10 minutes, they're cursing. They're murdering people. I was like, I don't know how many parents accidentally brought kids to this movie, but my God.
I would hope nobody. I mean, the trailer wasn't, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't fooled by the trailer, but yeah, that's what the rating system's for.
Like the fact that they had teenagers, I just genuinely thought, I was like, oh, this is a teenage spy movie. Like,
yeah, it's like I went into this. Your mindset is the same mindset I had when I went in to watch Hunger Games. Which,
okay, yes.
That took a dark turn. Those are legitimately children. And I was like, oh,
yes.
We're dying. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that. I know where you're coming from because I have experienced that.
Yes.
Before we get into anything deeper, I want to stop right here. Obviously, we've hit our 2.5 minute quota, so I need to tell everybody. You can follow us at the movie at Movie Propcast on our social media. You can check it out on Instagram, TikTok, and on our YouTube channel. We do record these whole podcasts. Everything you're hearing, you can watch our mouths move. If you like to look into people's mouths when they talk, you can go to our YouTube channel. And as Tyler opens his mouth, if you want to see the inside of Tyler's mouth, go to our YouTube channel. You can search it, The Movie Propcast. Hit us with a subscribe and ding-a-ling that little bell, and you'll get at least once every 2 weeks when we drop an episode, which may actually ramp up here sooner rather than later.
Promises.
We don't want to no promises, all right?
Don't
we all have
make
lives.
any promises.
I mean, once this starts paying for our well-being and our living, I mean, we'll probably just move into a house together.
Yes.
Right, and then just do like we'll have a studio, and our families will coexist. And we'll
we
just
do
have
these
episodes,
over dinner.
Yeah, episodes every day. But until then, we're on our normal schedule, and
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. We'll bunk up, save a room or two. We'll just do bunk beds. Anyway, Kingsman: The Secret Service. This one actually, it's like you said, it's so much fun. It's constantly engaging. It has a crazy cast. I wasn't really familiar with Colin Firth that much before I went into this film, which I believe was 2014 when this came out.
Yes.
Him as Harry, or AKA Galahad, my favorite character in the whole film, dude. He's just so composed. Every scene he's in is amazing. He steals it.
This movie made me want to be a gentleman. Like, I know James Bond made like being the spy suave guy cool. No, Harry, like, I legitimately picked up mannerisms and manners after this movie. I just wanted to be as cool as Harry after this movie.
The manners maketh the man scene where he's locking the door. I was like, oh, baby, here we go.
This movie just passes on like so many good little tips about just not being a jerk.
Yeah.
Like,
and then beating
really
people
good.
up if they are jerks, you know?
Just teach them the right way.
Yeah, that's the way you got to do it. You know, you just hit them with your umbrella, and then you move on with your day.
But yeah, Colin Firth was awesome in this as Harry. Before this, I think He'd been in like a couple of rom-coms, a couple of British movies and stuff like that. Nothing to this extent that I can remember, like no big action movies. Also on the cast list, we had a cameo by Mark Hamill, and he sounded so Joker-y in that movie. Like, he sounded straight like the Joker.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes he could...
disheveled. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he could sound like himself, but in this movie, he just, like, had this slight maniacalness to him. Another cameo, we have our second Michael Caine film. So he's joining Kirsten Dunst, and he's joining Hugo Weaving.
He's climbing the ladder, but yes, he is Arthur. Obviously, is he like the leader? I guess he's like. I would assume he kind of felt like the leader of the Kingsmen at this particular time.
Without jumping into Kingsman 2, which I actually haven't seen, to be perfectly fair and honest.
Goodness.
If he's not the leader of the Kingsmen, he's the leader of the British sector of the Kingsmen, because there are other regions who have Kingsmen.
Right. Okay. Yes. First off, you need to see the second one. I would highly suggest it. And I will say towards the end, I'm not going to say a spoiler, because if you've seen a trailer or any promo images from the second one, it's not necessarily a spoiler, but we'll get to that a little bit later. I have to make a comment on it.
Okay.
Yeah, but it'll be a slight thing. I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, but it won't really be a spoiler. It's all the information's out there, and it was in the promo material. Okay.
It was. I know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
And that the promo trailer or the promo poster for that movie, what did it say? It said something like, the records of my death have been greatly exaggerated or something along those lines. Dude, I got chills when that first came out.
And how did you not go see it? How did you not see the movie?
I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it.
I actually listen. I have this thing. It's called Movies Anywhere. I get a lot of digital downloads. I just learned today I can throw you an access to watch that movie.
Can I catch it?
Yeah, I hope you can catch it. If you have some sort of email, probably I can throw it. Anyway, this is unrelated. No one else knows. If you want to hit that up, you can hit us up, moviepropcast@gmail. Maybe I'll throw you a link. You can watch the movie. Probably not. I don't know.
And my favorite addition, like, this movie comes together with Samuel L. Jackson.
It's awesome.
It's so good. Like, you get hints of his Glass character, but obviously, like, this movie's so well done in the fact that it's comical. Like, it takes spy movies, it knows it's a satire, it knows it's comical. Like, you get those Austin Power moments with the music too, but Samuel L. Jackson as the villain was so self-aware, and I love, like, even the dinner he has with Harry. So Valentine and Harry, Samuel Jackson's Valentine, they have this dinner, and they're hinting at each other, like, oh, when Valentine, the villain of the movie, is like, when I was younger, I wanted to be a spy, and Harry's like, when I was younger, I wanted to be the villain. Like, they have that conversation, and it's just everything about this movie just felt good.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension in that scene, and then all of a sudden they open up it's just McDonald's they're eating for dinner. It was like, okay, I mean, product placement, sure, but it was like, I could see that. Like, Samuel Jackson's character is like not anti-gentleman, but it's like, it's not a classy setup. He's just like, yeah, we're just going to casually scarf down some McDonald's. I thought that was kind of cool.
It was hilarious having Samuel Jackson in the center of a British cast, because, one, I want to make a side note. How amazing does British slang sound?
Oh, like, it's amazing. Yeah, all the time. It just sounds, it just like sound. It's at the extra burn. You know what I mean? It's like, I have to stop, comprehend, and then realizing that you had to stop, comprehend what they said makes you just even feel more dumb. Like,
I've recently been watching Ted Lasso and, like, catching things like when they call Eggsy's mom Right Fit. Like, when I first watched this movie, I had no idea what that was, and now I know that they were calling her hot. I'm like, oh. Okay,
and he took it as a compliment. I was like, a lot of other people would have not done that, but I respected that, the way he did that. Before we get off Samuel Jackson, I would say, there's a little tidbit I had here in the casting department. It said it was initially reported in 2013 that Leonardo DiCaprio was going to take on the role of the villain in this movie.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so apparently it was denied. Like, it got leaked, and then the director came out and denied it, that he was even considered at all. Stating that he apparently came. The quote was, "He came as close to the role as I have come to playing the Pope." So he wasn't even close. I guess that's what he's trying to say. I don't know. It was a bit much. But the role of the villain wound up going to Samuel L. Jackson, who took the role in part because it was a career-long dream of his to be in a James Bond movie. Like,
That's amazing.
Which I don't know how you deny Samuel L. Jackson. You know what I mean?
Man's been in everything.
If anybody hears that, how do you not just slip him in like a cameo or something? Like, it hasn't happened yet. It's shocking. But he felt like it was unlikely to come true at this point, but he took on this role stating that it felt like it was an opportunity to play a really great Bond villain. That was his inspiration in this film. He just wanted to play a great Bond villain.
He nailed it. Like, absolutely nailed it. His lisp, so like his lisp was hilarious. His disdain or his discomfort with violence.
Yeah.
It was like the perfect character trait for me, because like he himself couldn't do violence. He couldn't see violence, but he knew his end goal was this ultra violent thing. And even at one point where people who sided with him died, he's like, you murdered all those innocent people. Like, he was so, I don't want to say deranged because he wasn't crazy, but he was delusional.
Right.
And it was awesome.
That scene in the cabin at the top of the ice, wherever that was, on like a mountain, whatever, they have Mark Hamill, the professor, strapped up. And the original Kingsman, I think that was Lancelot, wasn't it?
Yes, that was the first Lancelot.
Yeah. So he comes in, and obviously he does his thing, and it's awesome. Like, he grabs the drink, kills everybody, and he was like, he looked like the coolest dude in the world. Like,
Yes.
how could this end as badly as it did? And the next thing you know, he turns around, and the door is knocked on by Samuel L. Jackson, and he just gets split.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing here. That was like, graphic.
I wanted to see more of Lancelot, but honestly, that was just a good introduction of who we now know as Gazelle. They never actually say her name in the movie, but that was a good introduction.
Yeah, for real. If you look at the we checked out the IMDb, I was wondering what her name was in the movie, because they just introduce her as like his assistant or something when they're in the Kingsman shop. But it's Sophia Boutella. It's as Gazelle. And I'm like, when at any point in the movie did anybody address her as Gazelle? But I guess sure, that's a name that they gave her.
And did they have a sexual relationship or like?
I don't know. There were like two scenes where I was like,
exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah, one he like smacks her on the butt, and whenever he's in the house, and I was like, you probably didn't need that. I kind of like their relationship being a little more platonic, where it's like. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't need to do that. And at the end, they were like on top of each other, and it was like they shared a little moment.
Yeah, she like
in the bunker.
She like wipes his face, and she's like, "I'll be back" or something along those lines.
It could have been, but who knows? They left it real open, and it just kind of seemed like he was just doing whatever he wanted at this point. It was what it was. But her freaking blade legs split Lancelot in half, and like you said, and then she has to cover them all. She got to cover all the bodies as if there wouldn't be pools and pools of blood. There wasn't. There wasn't a lot of blood, to be completely honest, for the amount of violence in this.
Yeah.
Oh, right. A clean, full body in half cut. No blood would be spilled. Okay, that's sure. I guess that's logic.
In the medical field, we call that a bisection. I got you.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense. No, like you said, the Samuel L. Jackson, the lisp, it just, the balance between, yes, he's a villain, he's a bad guy, but also you can still laugh at him, right? You can still what he does is funny. You know, obviously he's killing people, which is insane, but he's still funny every time he's on the screen. So he does kind of steal the show whenever he does that. But yeah, I mean, as far as cast, obviously Taron Egerton is Eggsy. Mark Hamill we already talked about. It's a really good cast. I mean, Mark Strong is Merlin. Mark Strong is amazing in this movie.
My one thing about this movie is I need more Merlin. Like you said, Harry was your favorite character, and I want Harry to be, but there's scenes with Merlin where I'm like, I needed more of him. I just wanted to see more of what he could do. Yeah. He was the man behind the computer. Like he was that guy, but you could tell there's more to Merlin. Yeah. And I just loved how he presented that. Like, it just made me want more of his character.
Right. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a sequel to this movie. So
yes.
I'm just saying, if you wanted more, I mean, there's probably a way to get it. You could probably watch the sequel. So anyway, any notes from this movie? I only had one real gripe. Okay. And I don't know if I'm ready to get into it yet. There's a couple things I can just say that I wrote down notes-wise. I had a thought real quick, and it kind of bothered me because I think it's just like a fundamental difference of like how I would have reacted in the situation. But Eggsy in this movie, like how old do you think he is? Because I don't know. Like
I'd say like 20, 21.
He's got to be like in his early 20s because he was a child when he got that medal in the beginning of the movie, right? Yeah. And it said 17 years later. So he's in his early to mid 20s. And I'm thinking back, if I was in my early to mid 20s and I saw my stepdad laying his hands on my mom, you know what I mean? What kind of restraint do you have? I don't understand. You're a grown man. I'd be throwing hands at this man.
Like, that man is catching fists in the middle of the night, like a pillowcase over his head. He's getting taken out.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how has he not already like deleted this man from existence? I don't know.
The only thing is, like, it seems like he was the head of a gang, and that might be the only thing.
Right, like the repercussions, they probably just would come back harder and like probably just kill his family. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I understand that aspect, but you can't expect to like punch me in the face and grab a butcher knife and like for me to be like not retaliate once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There would be at least one. I don't know. I'd feel like in a physical matchup, like you see Taron Egerton with his shirt off in this movie.
Yeah.
I gotta imagine he could take this 50-plus-year-old man.
Why was that guy's friend just hanging out in the house? Like, that was so weird.
I don't know. Their whole dynamic was super strange. Obviously, the little grunts hanging out at the bar, like, just it's. I don't know. That whole like vibe. Like you said, it's got to be like some poor gang, some like poor little whatever weird gang, but it's just threats. It feels like a bunch of bullies. It didn't really feel like an organized crime unit. It just felt like a bunch of douchebags that were all like in a group of douchebags. But anyway, I saw that. It's not necessarily a gripe because I understand probably where it's coming from, but I would not have the restraint. I couldn't. I would have no choice but to throw hands at this man. And also, one other note I wanted to make about the Kingsmen specifically. You see a lot of pictures of them on the wall, obviously in the Kingsmen, and knowing the history, you see some flashbacks, and seeing them all at the table digitally with their glasses on when they're having the meeting and they're pouring one out for Lancelot. Not a lot of diversity in the Kingsmen.
No. I can only hope that in the next movie they get there.
Channing Tatum, pretty diverse.
Yeah, he likes diverse women.
Okay.
That's But yeah, no. Not a lot of diversity in the Kingsmen whatsoever. Yeah, maybe I'll be a Kingsman. Maybe I'll be. The next Kingsman.
It's entirely possible. You know, they probably. I think from what I hear, obviously it's not a real organization. Air quotes. It's not real. Which means it technically is.
What do you mean? Yeah,
it's real. I'm saying it is, but it's not. I'm not legally allowed to say it's real. You know, it's like part of the promise that I made.
I just don't know how to apply. Like, how did all those people apply?
That's a good question. They all just got nominated, right? So you got to find a couple white British men and just hope that they're like, I've got just the lad for this opportunity.
Because that's how Harry sounded.
I've got just a little laddie boy for this opportunity. That's it. Anyway, that's the only way to do it from what I understand. If you watch the movie, that's really the only way.
I need to get far away from this conversation. That accent killed me. Speaking of the Kingsmen and nominations, these tests are ridiculous. Like, the tests were absolutely ridiculous. How do you start off first test? You're all asleep.
Drown.
We're flooding. We're flooding your room. Done. Go. Start. Like, we're locking the doors. We're flooding your room. Let's see what happens.
I did learn a valuable lesson, though. Find a tube, breathe through a toilet. I looked it up. Accurate, but not all tubes in toilets do the same thing. So you have to hope that your toilet is one with a U-bend. I looked it up. It does work, but not all toilets have U-bends. Okay. All right.
Yes.
That's okay. Interesting. Now I'm like concerned I'm going to throw it down and it's going to be just pure sewage that I'm sucking up.
I was going to say, you're just going to start sucking up crap.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a dangerous game because now I was like, man, I could breathe forever if I just had a toilet. And now I'm scared. Imagine going out like that and you don't even drown in the water around you. You drown in the sewage that you just sucked out of the toilet.
There's just a bunch of poop in your stomach. They're like, oh
no. Okay. Yeah. That's disgusting. And like you said, like he held his breath. Eggsy holds his breath for like 3 minutes while swimming full speed underwater and punching. Apparently, you can punch out a window underwater. I didn't know that. But
the only thing I could think is maybe the pressure on his side of the window helped. Like
I had to.
Yeah. Like there was strain against the glass because of the amount of water. Like there were gallons. Like that's thousands of pounds of water. Right. So that's the only thing that I could think of.
I obviously would have been belly up first time. You know what I mean? I'd have been like, just give me my, yeah.
I would have been the girl in the background. Like, if you look, the girl in the background, like, trips over a bed and she just gets taken out and no one helps her. Like, no one at all even pays attention to her.
Well, if you look, I think if I was looking for it, because I knew, obviously, you know what happens. She's in the corner. I think she's breathing in the corner. Like, she had something set up a prior. Yeah. Or she was just she had a little air supply there. So at the end, when it all drained out, she could just flop up and be like, I'm dead. Like, yeah. Dead. So I think that was the way that went. But yeah, though, like you said, those tests right off the gate, insane. I'd probably check out after the first test. I'd be like, this is insane. A little bit much for me. I'm gone. Put me in the body bag, drag me out.
The most important question from this whole movie, Doyle, they give you that list of dogs, those cages of dogs. Which dog do you pick?
Not the pug. Not the pug.
Not the pug?
Not the pug.
It's a bulldog, yeah?
I honestly don't remember all the dogs. I mean, I only really remember the poodle and the pug. I mean, I didn't really look at the other ones.
So, okay, you get any dog you want. What do you pick?
Damn, that's tough. I mean, in that scenario, you got to pick something like that can keep up. I mean, like a German Shepherd, you couldn't go wrong.
I was going to say a German Shepherd.
I feel like that would be like the most... I mean, they're so smart. They're used, obviously, they're police dogs. I mean, they're just like, they're easy. I don't say they're easy to train. Dogs are only as easy to train as you are patient. Yeah. Like, yeah, you got to be good at training them. But definitely not a pug, man. Pugs are little, I mean, they're just basically little death balls. Like, they basically, I don't know. They find ways to put themselves in scenarios that just aren't right. I would not do that. Easy, no pug. The poodle I would have been happy with.
The poodle would have been pretty good. I've got a couple of more points about this movie. So further along in their training, like they're winding down the test, and Harry takes Eggsy to get a custom suit because every man needs a great suit.
Of course,
every man needs a great suit. So they go into room 2, and Eggsy asks, "Is this it?" And Harry's like, "Of course not." And he tells him to pull a lever, and it opens up into a secret entrance. And I'm telling you, I love this because I want a secret entrance in my home so badly. Like, I've looked up YouTube videos. I have multiple YouTube videos on how to, like, take a section out of a wall and you can make it look like a closet, and you pull a hanger and it goes open into another room. It's actually not that hard, and I have to bring it up to Alyssa because we're in the process of looking for a house and I want one.
Yes. Okay. So I actually have a story about this. It's not that long. We were kids. Obviously, we lived in Tennessee when I was younger. It was like I was between like 5 and 10. We lived in Tennessee. The house we had was 2 stories. If you went downstairs into the basement, it was a decent living area. The carpet was kind of gross, but it was like you could set up we had like a little entertainment living room down there. A bunch of Packers memorabilia. My dad put a bunch of crap up there. There was a room. If you went down the stairs, took a left, and went into this room before you went into like another room that was just it was just for storage. It was basically like a slate. It was look like a garage, but without the garage door.
Okay.
The room next to that had a big wall. It was like the size of a small bedroom. The wall had a huge world map on it. Mm-hmm. There were pins in there that we did not put in the wall. Had the 2 bookshelves and a blank wood wall in the middle. I was a kid, I had to climb it. If you climbed to the top of the right bookcase, there was a string up there. Pull the string, the door in the middle opened up. And it was, dude, I don't know what was going on down there.
What?
I don't know. They were planning world domination or something, hiding something, but it wasn't another massive room. It was basically like the size of like a good size walk-in closet.
That's what my plans are like. So sort of like the room you're in now, you can take a regular size room, you could put up a wall, and then in the corner you could put like a closet, and just with a couple of magnets you can make like a hinge door, and you could it's just a personal space. Like you put your computer in it and hang out.
It was so weird. It was like, and as a kid I was like, this is awesome.
That's
and
amazing.
Like there was a vent. There was like an air vent that you could see into. Like if you were it was just a vent. Like it wasn't like a peephole. Yeah. But you could see, if you looked out of it, you could look into the living room, like a little entertainment area. So if a game was on, you could just sit in there and like watch like TV or do the thing. It was so weird. But as a kid, you're like, this is awesome. My little secret place.
Yeah, that's amazing. The closest thing I had in my home growing up, we had a wall, and then it had like a built-in bookshelf. So if you went into the room where the water heater was, and you look, there was like a 6 inch space, crawl space behind that wall that you could look down. You can't really fit in it, but that was the
Right.
closest thing I had. But I
Oh
wasn't
yeah, it's
going in
the
there.
closest thing to Narnia we'll ever get, I think. Well,
Yeah.
at least for me, when I was a kid. But
That
yeah,
was awesome.
that was awesome. I would love to do that. If I got a house, that you definitely want to put a little secret
Mhm.
place.
And that, jeez, I want one so bad. You just got me. I need to move on. I'm moving
All right.
on.
No, you're
I
good. You're all right.
So we're not addressing it.
Addressing what? This is totally natural and normal.
Just addressing.
Okay, let's be honest. If you're watching the video right now, which you are clearly, we had a change of clothes because there were some minor technical difficulties, and here we are days later. Here's my, it's like a 4.5 day shadow I got working here, and here we are. We're back at it. We're gonna finish this podcast. We're super excited. Kingsman, the Secret Service. Oh yeah, wait, I don't have. Why
You
am I
do.
gonna tell you
Yeah,
that?
you don't. You don't.
You already know. All right. Let's get this baby rolling.
So Doyle, a lot happened in this movie. It was a great overall movie. What would you say your highlight for this movie is?
Oh God, highlight? That's like I feel like that's a loaded question. There was so there's a scene in particular, that I feel like if I said it was my highlight, I'd just be like a sicko, right? So I feel like I'm just gonna like avoid. Okay, listen, the church scene, I'll say. I'm not gonna say it's a highlight. I'll say cinematically fantastic, and it really stuck with me. I'd say probably the church scene where he's just going hard.
All right.
In
Well,
in that scene.
well, buckle your seatbelt and call me a sicko, because that church scene was the highlight of this film. That church scene was incredible, and I can remember the first time I saw the church scene, and as that woman's cursing out Colin Firth, I was like, okay, this is weird. And then you hear the slow build to Freebird, and the biggest smile just came on my face. And the action that followed in that scene might go down as one of my top 3 favorite scenes in any movie ever. Like the cinematography, the action. Okay, it was gratuitous violence. I get it. It was a little over the top. But that
a little
over the top.
A little over the top.
But that juxtaposition of like beautiful music, beautiful cinematography, and then just violence, it worked. When someone asks me about great cinematography, my mind will immediately go to the Daredevil hallway fight scene and this scene.
That's good.
That's good. It's just they mix in some parts where there's like extended takes. They have fast transitions. They have ramp ups. They have slow downs. And Colin Firth is just this angel of death, like this magical angel of death, and it's incredible. I just don't know how else to describe it.
Quite frankly, it was disgusting and beautiful at the same time. His line, real quick, I'll run it down. He says, to the people of this church, obviously this is like everything you could possibly say to rub them the wrong way. He says, "I'm a Catholic whore currently enjoying Congress out of wedlock with my black Jewish boyfriend who works at a military abortion clinic. So hail Satan and have a lovely afternoon, madam." Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing line. Obviously, it was everything you could say to trigger. And he was on his way to walk out.
Yes.
And they flick the switch. Everybody's cell phone goes out, and it is an absolute bloodbath. But my favorite part about that was when they're watching and they're like waiting for him to just get murdered. And they're like, this dude's still going.
Yes.
He's still going, like, at the end. And then they realize he just murdered everybody.
Yeah, they expected him to die.
I'm sure some other people got some kills in.
Yeah. They expected him to die, but he lasts like it probably like a full 6 minutes of at least 80 people trying to kill him. And you just see what like a Kingsman unhinged can do. And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was, and like on my...
Yeah, he comes out and he's like, "What did you do to me?" Yeah, what? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say this is like my 7th watch, and I never realized after he dies when he comes to in the background. Like for me, the music made this scene. You hear like a slower, different version of like Freebird. Like it just slows down. He's looking around, and that just hit me. I loved it. End rant. That's it. Sorry.
Right. No, obviously there was a lot going on, especially for you. That's like that's one of your favorite songs. It definitely encapsulates the moment. But when he comes out and he's like, "What did you do to me?" I wanted to kill those people. Like he actually like
Yes.
that just kind of like gives a little like highlight of like what this machine is actually doing, what these chips are actually doing. And yes, when he comes out, obviously Samuel L. Jackson, they exchange, or I should say Valentine, they exchange a line back and forth, like their little villain line that they had at the dinner. And he said, it's not that movie, and just blast him right in the face. And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, first watch, I was like, wow.
I
okay,
couldn't believe it.
You don't see that coming.
Yeah, they build up Harry. Harry's this great role model. He's this great character. You just see everything he could do, and then they just snuff him out. And you're like, what the heck is going on for the rest of this movie? And I liked that you get a little bit...
Right, and then...
Is there a delay?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, yeah. And then they just snuff him out. And then you get a little bit more into, like, Valentine's insanity because he kills him and then he starts to vomit on himself and then he's just like, I can't believe I just did that. She's like, you just killed a church full of people. He said, no, they killed each other. I just killed him. And like you get like his mind doesn't work like A to B can cause C. It's just A to B and that's it.
Right. Yeah, it's obviously he's a very unique villain. Like you said, like he doesn't like violence, but that's like literally his whole goal is to just cause mass amounts of violence. And yes, I don't want to spoil anything for the sequel. Like you said, you hadn't seen it yet, but if you watch the promo material, you may see Harry happens to be on the promo material, and I don't want to spoil it, but if you want to check the second one out, you can do that. Maybe we'll do that an episode of that one down the line. But there's a lot of I don't know. Again, I don't want to talk about the sequel, but it's like, what's he doing there after he just got shot right in the face? Your mind does not go there because when you're watching this first watch, you're like, this dude's dead. There's no way. He took a bullet to the face.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, totally dead. Anyway, okay, that scene, like you said, yeah, I would. Your passion has turned me. Yeah, I would say that's a highlight. That's definitely a highlight. It's disgusting. If you went out and just said, guys, check this out, everybody like, whoa, out of context, that's a horrible scene. But in context, obviously you know what he is, and obviously what those people were, and what they stood for. It kind of made it a little easier to, digest. But still, gross. But yes, I'll give it to you. Highlight, you sicko. One more gripe before we get into the draft. I wanted to say this is, and I guess not one more gripe. This is probably my only real gripe of the film, and it was throughout the process of choosing a Kingsman. Okay, obviously you're following Eggsy, and you're going down that path, right? And then it comes down to it's just Eggsy and Roxy, and they got to shoot the dog, which is disturbing, right? But they didn't actually shoot it, but they don't know that they're actually not shooting it, but they have to pull the trigger, whatever. That's not even my gripe. Shoot a dog, which I don't support, but I get it in the movie, in the context of the movie. Yes, go for it. The problem I have is when everything goes to crap, or tits up, as they say in the movie. I believe is okay to say because it's in the movie. It comes down to Roxy and Eggsy and Merlin, and it's just them. They got to finish the job.
Yeah.
My gripe is Roxy is the Kingsman.
She's Lancelot.
She got it.
Yeah.
She got Lancelot's position. She is technically a Kingsman, right? And I guess by default, because Harry died, I guess Eggsy's kind of gonna fill that role, but he's not technically he hasn't been bestowed Kingsmanship. However, they send Roxy to the frickin' stratosphere, and they let Eggsy go do all the cool spy stuff. And I thought obviously he's the main character in the movie. Obviously he had to do that, but to just be like, hey Kingsman, to the moon, and just she gets on a balloon, and that's what she does for that whole third act. She's on a balloon to the outer space.
That's a great gripe, and I wish I had paid harder attention to think. I didn't in my mind think you would go this route. I don't remember if they actually gave an explanation for it. They were just like, all right, Roxy, you're getting on the thing to shoot down the satellite. Eggsy, we're sending you in. And Eggsy wasn't supposed to do all of that. Eggsy's goal was just to upload information on the laptop and then get out.
Right.
So it wasn't that they wanted him to do all the spy stuff. He was just supposed to go shut down the satellite, I think, and then get out. And then everything went crazy, and then he had to go back
Okay,
in.
fair point. Counterpoint. I know you're trying to save this movie, but I'm going to ruin it. I'm telling you.
All right.
The argument to that is, guess who's already seen Eggsy's face in the Kingsman, like the main building, right?
Yeah.
It's freaking Valentine. He's seen his face.
Yes.
You're gonna send him into Valentine's business, and he gets caught by. Well, obviously he would have got. I guess if it was Roxy, he still would have got caught by the third dude who was in the Kingsman lineup, whatever he wound up being there. But they've seen his face. Why would? Oh God, it just seems like an oversight. It just seems like an oversight to send the one who rightfully earned the Kingsman spot to the who's also coincidentally afraid of heights. Oh. What have you done? I don't know. It just seems like a miss. It seems like a rare miss by Merlin to do that.
I have to go. Don't you dare slander Merlin's name.
I'm just saying it's rare. I'm just saying he might have missed the mark here.
I have to go back. I have to rewatch these scenes, and I will be back to the people with an answer.
Okay, sure. Yeah, right. That's a good political answer there to just stay out of it. But no, I'm not going to say the movie's bad. I'm just saying that one particular moment. It just kind of compounded where when you really look at it, Eggsy could have been just caught by just looking or facial recognition, something, but like, oh, that's that guy. And he does say that's that guy's valet. You know what I mean? When he's in there, he sees him. So it's like, oh, crap, it's this guy. If it was Roxy, I feel like they would have been like, oh, who knows who that is? You know, that could have been literally anybody. She could have been a little more discreet. But
yes, I agree. I know.
Whatever,
I agree with everything you're saying.
I'm not mad that the main character got to do the cool stuff. I'm just saying,
yeah,
I feel like Roxy should have had a bigger part in some action instead of just going to the outer space, which was still kind of cool. But I mean, literally every time you cut to her, she's just floating up.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, this is boring.
Completely agree. Arguably, Roxy's part of the plan, it might be the more important part.
I'm not going to say it's not more important. Obviously, that is completely disruptive and stops everything in its tracks. I'm just saying from like a cool spy movie aspect.
Yes.
She got the lame job.
Of course.
All right. You good? You got one more thing? Anything else?
We're
going to go into the draft.
One thing that I didn't notice until like my second watch, I liked that when they blow up the implants, they made them as fireworks instead of like,
oh yeah.
Until the very last guy, then you realize like they're blowing up heads. But throughout the movie, Valentine's putting implants in people's necks that is to make them immune to his radio frequency, but also he could blow their heads up whenever he wants, and they don't know that.
Yeah.
And then at the
Very
end,
sneaky.
at the end, Merlin turns it all on them and blows up everyone who had the implant, because naturally they're a bad guy anyway if you have the implant. And it's done with like this. I don't even know what the song is. It's like a 4th of July fireworks song.
That's what I would saw it. 4th of July, the fireworks are going off.
Yeah.
It's their heads exploding.
And everyone just has different colors, and it's just hilarious.
Think about real quick before we get into the draft again. I know we're putting it off, but the catastrophic mess
cleanup,
that comes. No, not even the cleanup.
Oh.
All the top financial, like all the biggest people in the world, their head just exploded. Now what?
Oh, yeah.
Like, those are, like, all that, I don't know. There's just obviously a lot of paperwork and a lot of, like, a lot of things up in the air, but that's a lot of power that just exploded right there.
I'm pretty sure the president and everyone in the cabinet, their head exploded.
Yeah, it's what it seemed like. I mean, it seemed like I don't know how you replace all that, but there's certainly a power vacuum that is created there, and that could have been a movie in and of itself.
Oh, yeah.
The fallout of everybody just exploding, but... Anyway, let's get into this draft. So you, Tyler, you nominated this film. Obviously, you'll be picking first. We decided that there's so many. It's a freaking spy movie, people. There's so many props. There's so many.
This was so rich. I felt like Scrooge McDuck diving. Well, some of these would hurt you if you dove into them, but I felt like there was just a plethora of things to pick from.
For sure, and I'm. This is another one that I think I'm okay with not having the first pick, because it's like I'm gonna get some juicy stuff.
I was gonna say first 3 picks, first 4, arguably.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's so much good stuff.
So you'll get the first pick. We decided we're gonna do 4 apiece, 8 total props because there's so many in this movie. I think my list. I think we're in like the mid-teens of just things that we wrote down when we were watching this film. But yeah, you're on the clock. First pick overall. You get any prop from this movie in your collection. What are we looking at?
There's very few things. That's a lie. There's a lot of things that immediately come to mind when I think Kingsman. But one thing that's just like I can't even build up to this. We're going with Gazelle sword legs.
Ooh.
That's just
Also, yes, you got to say who Gazelle is because for whatever reason in this movie,
yes.
like we said already, they don't give her an actual name.
They don't.
I guess her name is Gazelle.
But Gazelle is one of the main villains in this movie, and from the jump, you just see her walking around, kind of like a gazelle almost. And for some reason, without any explanation, she just has legs for swords. She's a double amputee with swords for legs.
Incredibly sharp. I don't know how she controls it. Like whenever she kicks, they extend.
Yeah.
I don't know what. There's no real like law or physics of what they actually do. I don't know, but they are very fascinating, and that's a really good pick. I'm not going to knock it. It's pretty impressive. It is on my list. I will say there were a few things ahead of it.
Okay.
But I mean that's how it's going to be. I think that's a fair. There's so many things. It's hard to kind of rank these and figure out which one's the most powerful.
Yes.
That being said, I'm going to pick the best prop from the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to, right? I mean, okay. So what I have number one on my list, it is something that you see quite often in the film, and it's donned by two characters. And I will tell you right now that it's also very effective in stopping rain from dropping on you.
That's my second pick.
It's Henry/Galahad's umbrella. The utility of this umbrella,
Incredible.
unbelievable.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's like freaking bulletproof. It stops like you can like an explosion apparently can't bust it, and it can shoot like stun. I don't even know what it can literally do anything you want it to do from what it looks like. And it's got like a heads up display. You can see through it. Like it's great. It's ridiculous.
Great pick. I am not even upset about that. Not even upset about that. That's a very good pick.
And it's a freaking umbrella. It's cool. Like I could go out if I wanted to. You know, I could have it in my home and be like, oh shoot, where's the umbrella? Oh, let's just grab that one from the movie.
In my mind, like the prop would be able to open up and you'd be able to see through it like he could. Like when Eggsy was fighting the guys, and it for some reason it's transparent. On one side it's like a one-way mirror. Or
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I would hope that the prop could do that.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. That'd be pretty awesome.
Very good pick. That is my second pick. However, I'm not even upset because
all right.
Something else that I actually liked in this movie that came up a couple of times. It was handed down. It was a get out of jail free card essentially. I want that Kingsman Medal of Valor. All right.
That's fair. That's the one that was given to Eggsy when he was a young lad.
Yes.
When his father died, Henry showed up, gave him that thing, and he just wore it on his neck his whole life.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like 15 years, 10, 15, 17 years.
Yeah, I just want to.
17 years fast.
I want to know how he remembered to say Oxford's not brogues.
Oh, I know, right? Well, obviously, maybe I'm sure there was a conversation. It probably came up a lot where like he would ask about like, what was the story on this? And his mom was like, I'm sure especially when it's the only real attachment you have to your father, right? So it's like, I mean, I'm sure there were other things, but that is obviously what the movie highlighted, that he got that because his father passed away and saved Henry's life. But yeah, it is very interesting that he was just like, oh, wait a minute. Also, what a weird phone call. What a totally weird phone call where it's just like, thank you for doing business. We hope you haven't lost you as a customer, right? What a weird, and he just hangs up and he's like, well, I'm screwed. Like nothing, what's going to happen now?
You just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And the next scene, he walks out of the police and he just has to deal with it. Like I mean, I guess that's a cool way to use it. I mean, what a fun time. You got to steal somebody's car and then crash it into a police officer. Sure.
By the way, Eggsy is actually, now that we say that he's 21, it makes more sense. But like for him to not have a car and him to be poor, I'm surprised he was able to drive as well as he was.
Right. Where did he get that? I mean, he also, he was in like what the Marines or whatever. I don't know what he was in, but he was in the military. But still, like they don't give you a car to like drive around, you know, and you wouldn't drive it around like that, right? So I don't know. Yeah, you're right. He played a lot of video games. Maybe I don't know. I don't know where you picked that up, but very interesting. Okay, so you got the Gazelle's blade legs. I have Henry's umbrella, and then you got the Kingsman medal. Kingsman medal was second on my list. I was going there next, and you yoinked it. You yoinked it from me.
Give me that.
So all right, the next one that I'll go to, I'll pivot. I got to get something from my man Valentine, right? Samuel L. Jackson in this movie, he's awesome. The lisp, it's iconic. I got to get, which I initially didn't write down in the beginning of the film, where I was like, I mean, they're okay, but I was like, I'm not going to, how often are they in these scenes, and it turns
Every
out
scene.
every
Every
scene
scene.
he's wearing these glasses.
I knew exactly where you're going. Every scene.
Yeah, he's got like what? They're the regular glasses, but it looks like he's got some like fake Google Glass going on.
Yes.
Like the little like screen type thing over the top right lens.
Yep.
Interesting looking glasses. I'm taking Valentine's glasses with the 4th pick for sure. I had to get something from him because I just obviously he's the villain in the film, and those I just didn't know what to get. Obviously, if you go back and listen to some of our older episodes, we're making a sunglass hut. We're like actually just getting a bunch of glasses, but they're iconic. They're on these actors' faces the entire film. That's like almost the entirety of the movie every time they're on the screen. So it's like that's all the screen time. To me, screen time is powerful, obviously, with the movie prop as far as value and just importance to the film. And without them, could he even see? Like, are they prescription? I don't know. What was he doing with them? Who knows?
So,
I'm taking those glasses.
I mean, if you want something from Valentine, I almost want to extend this to 5. Anyway, if you want something from Valentine, I guess I'll take something. And even though he doesn't wear what I want, he's around it quite a lot through the movie. He even spends his final seconds on it. And I kind of want his computer table, that giant digital, like, have you ever tried to type on a computer that doesn't have like a physical keyboard? No. It is the most infuriating thing in the world. Because your fingers don't really know where to go. You don't have that feedback from holding the keys. But that giant table that he has where he like burns his hand on it and all of that stuff, I want that. Right.
That's a pretty sweet table. I have to step outside of the film and try to realistically assess this movie prop. It's probably just a green table. If I'm being completely honest. I don't know if that changes anything for you. But realistically,
if
I know it this. Yeah.
Realistically, if it is actually a green table, am I allowed to change that pick, or should I?
Oh, for sure. I can tell you confidently, I'm 99% sure that that's not an actual computer table, and it's probably just a green top table. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if it was real, like this was probably the prop from the film that you'd be like, if I could have something from this film that's real.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be tough to pass up the umbrella, but the computer table, realistically, on a day-to-day basis, would be amazing. It'd be awesome to have a computer table.
Well,
but it's probably a green top table.
The second thing that I liked from our man Valentine would be his murder laptop, that suitcase he had.
Okay.
That would be my second pick then.
So they're basically the same thing. So listen, I'll pair them together because I feel like giving you just a green table is just not good enough. So I'll give you...
I'm a little upset that I even didn't think that might just be a green table, to be honest. Like, it never even crossed my mind. I wrote it down and I was just so jazzed up. I was like, I'm getting this.
Your imagination was getting the best of you. Obviously, when you're immersed in the film, you're like, that is an awesome... I would love to have some technology like that. But like I said, I mean, if you're looking at it, it is definitely green screen. It's not a real... But the actual suitcase... I wrote it down. I got to figure out where it's at on my list. Oh, Valentine's anger machine is what I called it. The suitcase.
You called it.
You open it up. Yeah, it's an anger-inducing machine.
I called it the murder laptop.
That sounds cooler. That does sound cooler. So the suitcase murder laptop. We'll put that down, and then you can just take that table home with you because it's no one else is using it. It's just been there.
I appreciate you and thank you very much.
Okay, cool. All right, so we'll do murder laptop. That's fun to write down. Let's hope that no one sees these notes I'm taking.
Oh, yeah. You got to be careful with that.
Right. So let me go down the next on my list. I got to figure out. So you took the next on my list. This is where I had Gazelle's blade legs. So everything has been taken. We're getting down to the nitty gritty here, and I'm actually kind of scared. I've never gotten this deep on it. But when I made my rankings, I've never gone this far and actually had to go to the end of them. And
so
I think we're getting there right now.
This is competitive.
It is. It's getting heated. Oh man, I have these ranked 6 and 7 right now, but I think I'm gonna have to take 7 over 6 in this particular instance.
Interesting. I wonder if it's what I think it is. But
I need to pivot because to me, one, I think
we probably
have
the same list.
Okay,
too.
all right. Let me just get into it. Let me just get into it. So I'm gonna pass up this number 6. I'll go to my number 7, which I have written here. The Oxford shoes with the knife toe.
That was your 7?
The toe knives. That's 7 for me.
7?
Yeah.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
So, yeah, obviously they got the Oxford, not brogues, shoes, and then it's the ones where at the end, obviously he's in the fight. You see Eggsy in the fight, and he jumps up like 15 feet in the air, right? It's obviously a really cool freeze frame, slow motion. I don't know how he does it realistically, like physically. That's impressive.
His scores were out off the charts.
All right, you're right. He's an athletic specimen. But he is like a gymnast, too. So I guess that does kind of, he just planted it. But he taps his shoes in the air. I don't know why you wouldn't do it before, just to ensure that it's out and ready to go. But he taps his shoes in the air. The tip of the knife comes out. There's a neurotoxin on it. And he just barely nicks Gazelle's arm. And she just like disintegrates, basically. Well, she just, she gets poisoned and dies.
Classic spy
I'll take
movie.
those shoes.
Classic spy movie move with that neurotoxin.
Gotta have it, man. Gotta have the neurotoxin. It's just it's slick. So Oxford with the knife toes. I'm happy to have them, and I'm gonna have the knives extended, right? Obviously, you want them polished.
Yes.
The shoes are gonna be displayed, but I want the tip out. You gotta have the tip out.
Make sure you have a plastic over it so you don't kill yourself with the poison.
Yes. Oh, for sure. I'll put a little plastic cover over it so no one can hurt themselves on it. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. So I'm hoping I'm stealing your number 6 with this. You can't leave a spy movie without a weapon. I mean, you took a weapon. You took 2 technically. But something that stuck out to me that I didn't even think was a real big deal in this movie until you got to see it later on was the standard issue Kingsman pistol with the shotgun attachment.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so when you see that, it's a super tiny pistol, right? You're like, okay, that thing's kind of wimpy. But the fact that you can stuff a shotgun shell in there just for the close range nonsense.
Yes.
Insanity. That's a pretty ballin' pick right there. I can't be mad at that.
That is my last pick of Kingsman.
So I actually didn't have that in my top 8. But it's okay.
That's fine.
It's okay. It's all right. So you had the Kingsman standard issue pistol, we'll call it.
Yes.
Very nice. And like you said, I mean, obviously, it doesn't. It just looks like a weapon, right? But it's a spy movie. Everybody had one, right?
Yeah.
Although there's one other gun in the beginning where he has the silenced pistol.
Yes.
That was like the golden eye, like James Bond. That was about as close to Bond as we get in this film. Was that whole scene? Okay, so number 8, you left me with the 6. Am I gonna overlook it again for number 8 though? Like, I don't know. Maybe what was I doing when I was making these rankings?
Is 6 actually 6? Because it doesn't sound like it deserves to be up there.
Oh, look, I'll be honest. I made these rankings a few days ago. All right, things might have changed. I'm feeling a little different today.
I think things change. Honestly, this draft could have gone deep. I have like 2 more picks I could go through, to be honest. But
are you trying to add one more? I mean, I don't know how much time we got. I mean, I probably shouldn't, but
let's add one more.
All right. Well, then that's going to make it a little easier for me. That's going to make it a little easier for me. All right. So then I'll just go for the number 6 now. I'll get it because I do feel like it's gotten a good amount of screen time. It's actually a very important piece of the film. There's a nice little sleight of hand action that caused, let's say, someone's untimely death. I'm taking the poison pen.
The poison pen.
The poison pen. I'll say the one specifically that was used by Arthur.
Okay.
At the end. So Arthur, obviously Michael Caine is Arthur. He thinks he's slick. He puts the little poison in the what is it? Whiskey? I don't know what they're using. It's like
I thought it was like a scotch or something.
I don't know what they're drinking. I don't know. It was some sort of alcoholic beverage. And then Eggsy uses his sleight of hand to swap the glasses around and cause Arthur to basically kill himself. I mean, he didn't actually cause. It's not technically murder, right? I mean, he did it to himself. I'm sure there's like something there, but
I would like to say I did not. Arthur was very painful to watch throughout this movie. He was just mean to Eggsy the entire time for no reason because he was poor.
Oh yeah.
He should have never had like the scene with the dog. I think Eggsy passes that if Merlin or Harry is there.
Oh yeah, because they're probably like, just do it. Come on.
Yeah.
Pull the trigger, man.
Like
they're a little chill. But yeah, to start it off where he's like, take the gun and he points it at him. Like he points it at Eggsy like he's gonna shoot him. I'm like, wait, what? What are you doing?
Yeah, Arthur should have never been in the same room with Eggsy alone ever at any point throughout this movie. But,
very weird character.
So my final pick. Thank you for making this. It's easy and difficult at the same time because I've got 3 things I would like. But one thing that also a lot of things stood out in this movie. Now that I think about it,
yeah, I could have kept going. I stopped at 8 because we were going to 8. But man, I'll keep going.
They gave screen time to a lot of stuff. But one of my favorite last things is going to be the Kingsman shock ring. specifically
Ooh,
Harry's. Gentleman
yeah.
wears it on his dominant side pinky, I believe. I want that.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now that's a cool looking ring. Obviously, you could wear that. Well, you wouldn't display that though. You'd wear that on a day-to-day basis.
Oh,
right?
I'm wearing it right now.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, obviously, that's no issue. Yeah, that's obviously a pretty cool thing, and which I don't know what I'm not going to segue it into my last pick, but it's definitely there's so many little gadgets, there's so many little things, and I feel like now that you've got some jewelry, I might have to get a jewelry / accessory myself. My number 8 was on my list, but I'll get it here at number 10. That's called value, folks. I'm going to take Harry's watch.
Harry's
pick. Watch, where he's like literally shooting like a darts out of it and all that nonsense. Yeah. Very versatile. Obviously, a spy's watch can do so much more than just tell time. So it's a very integral part of this film, and I'm going to take Harry's watch.
I was between the watch and the ring, so that's good.
Okay. So the poison pen, out of curiosity, wasn't on your radar. You had no interest?
Nowhere.
It's literally just a pen, right? So like in real life, you're like,
it could flick.
Look at this.
It could flick, though. So
yeah, it had a little stick there. That's really neato. But no, just obviously it being impactful on the film. That's really what kind of drove it up. All right, so let's recap. There's a book I have to read here. Let me pick this up. First pick, you picked Gazelle's blade legs. I picked Henry's umbrella. You picked the Kingsman medal given to Eggsy by Henry 17 years prior. I took Valentine's glasses. You took Valentine's computer table / murder laptop.
Thank you.
I mean,
that's value.
It's value. That's a good pick. I took the Oxford shoes with the knife toes. There's so much nonsense in this film.
Yeah, I love it.
You took the Kingsman standard issue pistol, is what we're calling it, with the shot. Dad, you want me to say shot with the shotgun?
Yes, you need
attachment too.
Yes.
Sure. I took the poison pen, and then our bonus round we did not plan for, but we did it anyway because we like to give extra to you people,
yes.
And by you people we mean the listeners of the movie Propcast. The Kingsman ring with the shock ring.
Yes.
I gotta say shock ring legally. It's in my contract. And then I took Harry's watch. That's a draft, folks. That's the most I think we've ever done. 10?
It
10
is.
picks?
By far.
And we did the movie Men in Black, and we didn't even go to 10.
No.
Which is crazy to me. But this one definitely had a lot more little gadgets.
Men in Black had a lot of stuff, but they didn't bring up a lot of the stuff. Like, it was in passing. In this movie, every other scene was like, the one thing we didn't bring up, the lighter bomb.
That was on my list.
Yeah.
That was on my list.
The lighter that's a bomb.
I actually had. I'm sure we both had a lot more stuff, but Merlin's magic clipboard was on my list. I feel like it was a computer clipbood. Right?
I actually did not have Merlin's clipboard.
Yeah, but it was like basically a tablet, and it was literally could do anything. It could search the internet. Like it was funny because to them, it cost them nothing. It was a clipboard, but a little extra CGI, and it made it a freaking tablet. I did the Halo suit. I wrote the Halo suit down from the parachute things. It's a cool looking suit, but in the grand scheme of things, we're not picking outfits.
I'm surprised I actually didn't write down the Halo, the yellow machine that she was on, like that robotics machine.
I also wrote that down. Yes,
okay.
I put that on my list. But again, the balloon robot machine, lamest part of the movie. It wasn't going to make it with all the other stuff. And if we went to like another round, maybe another like a 6th round, possibly it would have hit the list. But the lighter grenade was going to come up for sure.
Yes.
You took the Kingsman ring. One of the newspapers on the wall of Henry's office I thought would have been kind of cool.
I thought I would have given you all of them because I thought of it like they're a package deal, just having like all of those line up the room.
Yeah, I wrote down specifically the one that's to pee or not to pee because it's mentioned. They actually reads it. He's like, to pee or not to pee, and then he gives you like what happened during that day. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then one more I wrote down. You can call me a weirdo, but I wrote it down. Mr. Pickle, the taxidermy dog.
Oh, I knew you were going to go that route. Like I 100%.
I had to write it. I was like,
knew.
it's a taxidermy dog. It's a prop. That's a movie prop. Somewhere that dog is just chilling. Somebody's got that dog somewhere.
I knew
which
you
is
were
sad.
there. One last thing that I wrote down that didn't come up were the SIM cards because they actually made like the little Valentine SIM cards.
Right.
So that is something else that I wrote down. And
I did not officially write that, but it was on my radar, and I was like, too small. It would have never competed with the others.
And then half jokingly, half serious, I just wrote anything with a Kingsman logo because like even the Scotch holders that they had, for the alcohol.
Yeah, the decanters,
Yeah.
I believe is what you call them.
Yeah,
the official decanters.
Like those had the Kingsman logo. Their placemats when they sit down at the table had the logo. Merlin's laptop inside the jet had, like, everything had the logo. I would take anything with the logo on it, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. Obviously, that's an easy way to tie it right to the film, and anything with the logo that is out there in the universe would definitely be a pretty sweet prop to have. I don't have any more thoughts. I mean, that was pretty much it. We just did a mouthful of a draft. Other than that, I mean, did you have anything that was just
Doyle,
you wanted to hit before we got out of here?
I've given them everything, Doyle.
Oh, okay. Everything you have, except for you haven't seen the sequel yet, which, by the way, if anyone's listening this long and you haven't seen the second one, or if anybody's doing a podcast about Kingsman and hasn't seen the sequel, highly suggest you do it. I don't know who that might be. I'm not going to name names or anything, but definitely take the time to check it out because it's fun. If you like this movie, you'll love the next one. I'm not going to say it's better than the first one, but I will say it's equally as fun.
Ooh.
It's definitely as fun, and there's a lot of cool cameos in that one too, where you're like, "What the hell is going on?" Like, you really should watch it. All right, maybe down the line we'll do another episode, and when Tyler actually sits down and watches it,
Stop saying
we'll bring
maybe.
it back and do it.
Stop saying maybe. Now I'm just saving it. It's in the vault. It's coming.
Okay, it's in the vault. We do have like a list of definitely a bunch of movies that we're going to get into, and we are working currently on bringing on some more guests. I know we did that in our first set of movies that we released. Initially, we had a guest, a great guest. You can go back and listen to that as well. But we'll be getting more guests on, and you can follow along at Movie Propcast on all social media. And if you'd like to reach us, you can. I'm gonna say our email. I think I might have already done it, but if it's moviepropcast@gmail.com. If you want to throw, maybe you have a suggestion for a movie you want us to do. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if we actually read it? We might ignore it, but take a shot. Why not? Give it a shot.
Shoot your shot.
Yeah. All right, Tyler, this has been fun. Great movie. I had a lot of fun, and hopefully I'll try to keep it going for our next episode. I'm not gonna say anything about it yet, but I hope I can keep the same energy in the next episode.
I hope so too.
All right, let's get the heck out of here. I gotta go to bed.
All right, see you.
All right, see ya.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you.
Not you, Tyler. The people listening.
Never. I hope that didn't
Never
get
you.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't
Everyone's
get
like, these two love each other,
No.
which we do. I'm not gonna say. Oh, this is
no.
awkward.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I love you, listeners. All
Yeah.
right, see you later. Bye.